Hello everyone. In previous video, we discussed what risk assessment means and why it is important. Today, we are going one step further. This will not be another theory lesson. In this video, I'll show you how to conduct a risk assessment step by step using one practical industrial job from beginning to the end. Imagine that your team has been instructed to lift a steel pipe using mobile crane. The crane is available, operator is ready, riggers are standing by, and the supervisor wants the work to begin. But before the crane moves, before the lifting gear is connected, and before anyone touches the pipe, one important process must take place. We must understand the job, identify what could go wrong, evaluate the risk, and decide what controls are required. In other words, we must conduct a risk assessment. For this exercise, I want you to imagine that you are HSE officer or supervisor responsible for reviewing the activity. As we move through each step, I will ask questions, try to answer them before I reveal the solution. By the end of this video, you should understand how to take activity and turn it into a practical, usable risk assessment. So let's begin. The first step is to understand the job clearly. Before identifying hazards, we need to know exactly what is going to happen. Our planned activity is to lift a large steel pipe from its current storage position and place it in another designated area by using a mobile crane. That sounds simple, but we need more information. Like what is the weight and size of the pipe, where it is currently located, where will it be placed, which crane will be used, what lifting accessories are required, who will attach and control the load, what route will the suspended load follows. Are there people, equipment, pipes, structures, or overhead obstructions nearby? What are the ground and weather conditions? These details matters because we cannot assess a job that we do not fully understand. One common mistake is to begin listing general hazards without first defining the task or the activity. A proper risk assessment must relate to the actual activity, actual location, actual equipment, and actual conditions. So before moving forward, confirm the job scope with supervisor, crane operator, rigging team, and the workers involved. And everyone should have the same understanding of what will happen. The next step is to divide the job into its main work stages. This makes hazard identification much easier. For our lifting operation, the activity may be divided into following steps. First, position and set up the mobile crane. Second, inspect the crane and lifting accessories. Third, prepare the pipes and connect to the lifting gears. Fourth, conduct a trial lift and confirm balance and rigging stability. Fifth, lift and move the pipe. And sixth, lower the pipe into designated position. And finally, disconnect the lifting gear and clear the area. Why do we break the activity into steps? Because every stage can contain different hazards. For example, the crane setup may involve unstable ground or unsafe outrigging positioning. Connecting the lifting gear may involve hand injuries or pinch points. Moving the load may expose people to a suspended load or unexpected crane movement. Lowering the pipe may create crushing hazard between the pipe and supports. If we assess the job only as lifting a pipe, we may miss important hazards. But when we examine the activity step by step, the hazards become much easier to see. Now we begin hazard identification. This is where we ask the main question: what could go wrong during each step of the job. Let us look at the crane setup. One hazard may be weak or uneven ground. The related risk that the crane could become unstable or overturn. Another hazard is incorrect positioning of the outriggers. The risk is loss of stability during the lift. Now, let us look at the lifting equipment. A damaged sling, hook, shackle, or spreader beam is a hazard. The risk is lifting equipment failure, causing the pipe to fall. During rigging, worker may place their hands between the pipe and lifting accessories. The hazard is the pinch point, while the risk is a crush or imputed finger. During the lift, the suspended pipe is a major hazard. The risk is that someone could struck or crush if the load falls, swing, or move unexpectedly. Poor communication is another hazard. If the crane operator receives unclear or conflicting signals, the risk is unexpected crane movement. People entering the lifting area also create a serious exposure. The risk is that a worker or a driver or pedestrian could enter the line of fire. Now, similarly, weather can also affect the operation. Strong wind may cause the pipe to swing or become difficult to control. The important point is this: do not write only the general hazards such as lifting. Be specific. Identifying the source of harm and clearly describe how someone could be injured or how equipment could be damaged. For example, hazard is suspended pipe, and the risk is worker struck or crushed by falling or swinging load. Once the hazards and risks are identified, we must evaluate the risk level before applying additional controls. This is often called initial risk. Most risk matrices consider two things: likelihood and severity. Likelihood means how probable it is that the event could happen. Severity means how serious the outcome could be if it happened. The exact categories and scoring system may differ from one organization to another, so always use your approved company risk matrix. Let us use a suspended load example. Could someone be struck by the pipe if the people are allowed inside the lifting area? The answer is yes. Is that possible during the activity? The answer is again yes. And if a large steel pipe strike a person, how serious could the consequences be? Again, the answer is it could result in a major injury or fatality. Therefore, before suitable controls are confirmed, the initial risk may be higher or critical, depending on the risk matrix being used. This does not mean that we change the score simply because we want the job to proceed. The rating must honestly reflect the actual exposure and possible consequences. A risk assessment loses its value when people deliberately select low scores just to make the activity appear acceptable. The purpose of the risk matrix is not to approve only the job. Its purpose is to help us understand the risk and determine whether stronger controls are required or not. Now we select the controls. We should not begin with the PP alone. We must choose controls that address the hazards as close to its source as reasonably possible. For our lifting activity, the controls may include the following: use a suitable crane with adequate capacity for the planned lift. Confirm the pipe weight, lifting radius, crane configuration, and load chart requirements. Position the crane on firm and stable ground. Fully deploy and correctly support the outriggers according to the approved setup. Use inspected and certified lifting accessories of suitable capacity. Ensure the crane operator, rigger, and signal person are trained, competent, and authorized. Prepare an appropriate lifting plan. Conduct a pre-lifting briefing so everyone can understand their role. Establish a physical exclusion zone around the lifting area. Do not allow any person under the suspended load. Use only designated signal person who communicate the crane operator. Use taglines where appropriate while keeping workers away from pinch point and the line of fire. Check wind and weather condition before and during the lift. Conduct a trial lift to verify the balance and security of the load. Stop operation immediately if conditions are changed or communication is lost. After applying these controls, we reassess the risk. This is called residual risk. The controls may reduce the likelihood of the event which are occurring. However, the potential severity of being struck by a large falling pipe may remain serious. This is an important point. Controls do not make a heavy suspended load harmless. They reduce the probability of people being exposed or the event occurring. If the residual risk remain above the organization's accepted level, the work must not proceed. Additional controls, a revised method, further authorization, or complete postpone may be required. Now we can complete the risk assessment form. The form should clearly show the task being performed, the individual work steps, the hazards identified, the possible consequences, the initial risk rating, the required controls, the responsible person of each control, and the residual risk after controls are applied. But completing the form is not the end of the process. The controls written on the paper must be physically verified at the work location. Before starting the lift, confirm: is the crane correctly positioned? Are the outriggers properly supported? Have the crane and lifting accessories been inspected? Are the operator and rigger team competent? Is the pipe weight confirmed? Is the exclusion zone established? Is the lifting path clear? Is the signal person appointed? Is communication working? Are workers outside of the line of fire? Are weather's conditions are acceptable? Does everyone understand the lifting plan and emergency arrangements? If the answer is no, then lifting must not begin. The team should also conduct a short field level check, such as a take 5 or pre-task review immediately before starting. This final check confirms that the written assessment still matches the real condition at the workplace. Remember that risk assessment is not a one-time activity. It must be reviewed if the scope change. It must be reviewed if the equipment change. Similarly, weather change, new worker joins, the work area change, or an unexpected hazard is discovered. Let us summarize the whole process. Understand the job, break it into steps, identify the hazards, describe the risks, evaluate likelihood and severity, select effective controls, calculate the residual risk, communicate the assessment, verify the control in the field, then and only then start the work. A good risk assessment is not the form with the most words. It is the assessment that workers understand and controls that actually apply. Before your next job, stop and ask, what could go wrong? Then make sure the answer is controlled before anyone is exposed. Thank you very much for watching Safety with Zahid. In the comment section, please tell me which activity would you like me to assess in the next practical episode. For example, forklift operations, working at height, hot work, chemical handlings, or machine maintenance, etc. Till then, stay safe, stay alert, and stay professional.